This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
A young, vibrant man.
I feel lightheaded. That's what I feel.
I love that bit on the end of the Clive Bull show. One of the most hateful women in the world. Clive says, oh, but we can't judge. No, nice save, Clive. So I'm feeling a bit lightheaded, probably because I'm going through a nervous breakdown. How about you? I think we're all feeling a bit of it. Former MI6 chief Sir John Sawyers. Sawyers? S-A-W-E-R-S. Sowers. No. Sawyers, probably. Is that how you say it? Sowers? Sawyers? Because it looks like Sowers, and some people might say that he is a bit sour. Judging by what he said. Talking Britain down. Why can't he be patriotic to his country? Former MI6 chief Sir John Sawyers said the UK is going through a political nervous breakdown. That's what he said. A political nervous breakdown. That's what we're doing at the moment. And if you put your ear to this country, you'll hear... But at least he didn't say that it had anything to do with Brexit. In other news, he said it has completely everything to do with Brexit. Oh, no. Sir John Sawyers said the Brexit debate had left the country bitterly divided and damaged the UK's global reputation. Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, now that Donald Trump is really ticking all the boxes of someone who wants to be a dictator, he's a little less funny than he used to be. So that makes us the laughing stock of the world. Sawyers says we're going through a political nervous breakdown here in the UK. We have potential prime ministers being elected by the Conservative Party who do not have the standing that we have become used to in our top leadership. I think he's calling you a clown, Bozo.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
And that's the choice we got, Bozo the Clown or Mr. Bean. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
And the hustings report was that Mr. Bean got less of a round of applause than Bozo the Clown. And that's because Mr. Bean is D-U-L-L.
Boring.
He's a little bit boring. Sounds somewhat ineffectual. I'll raise myself up to my biggest height and I'll just say no, is what he said yesterday. And that's exactly how he said it. Whereas Boris just ruffles his hair and he says, does that old flannel. And he has them in stitches. He's got that thing that Tommy Cooper had. He doesn't actually have to say anything. He's just intrinsically funny. And that's where we're at now. We just want the funny guy off the telly to be the leader of this country. I think we're all out of ideas. Sawyers says whether people can develop that, as in leadership, if people can develop leadership when they become Prime Minister, well, we'll have to wait and see, he said. Well, I don't think we have to wait and see. I don't think it's necessary to wait and see what Bozo is going to be like in number 10. He'll be like he always is, telling people whatever he thinks that they want to hear in order to keep the plaudits and the praise coming in. And ruffling up his hair and doing that, oh gosh, routine when he gets caught out. Who, me? He's been doing it his whole life, and it's worked up to now. Why change it? Former MI6 chief Sir John Sawyers says, I think there's a lot of anxiety. As we leave the European Union, we are taking a huge risk to our international standing, to the strength of the British economy. He said it wasn't surprising that the people who have devoted themselves to serving the interests of this country are concerned about the direction that the country is heading in. And that's right. Weirdly, we got to the point where if you don't agree with whoever is shouting the loudest, you are a traitor to your country. Despite the fact that the people doing the shouting seem to be acting solely in their own interests. Am I wrong about that?
No.
Don't think so. Ian Duncan Smith popped up. The former Tory leader and chairman of Boris Johnson's leadership campaign. He hit back at former MI6 chief Sir John Sawyers at his remarks that the country was struggling with a political and emotional crisis. Ian Duncan Smith said, actually, okay, this is the level of where we're at. Former MI6 chief Sir John Sawyers said that the UK is going through a political nervous breakdown, which seems about right. I mean, does that seem fair? Yes. In response, Ian Duncan Smith said, "No, you're having a political nervous breakdown," or words to that effect. Holy moly, we're in the playground. This is what he actually said. He said, "I think he might be going through a political nervous breakdown." See, that's not too far off what I said. Ian Duncan Smith said, "I'm certainly not going through a political nervous breakdown, and I don't think my party is either, to be honest with you." Really? Really? His party's being eaten up from the inside, fighting with itself like drunks at a racecourse. Most of its MPs don't want either of the two left standing to be their next leader, and they're lurching to the right of the right wing just to try to stop foghorn Farage from sinking them and appeasing the religious fundamentalists in Northern Ireland who are keeping them in power. Arr, arr, arr. I mean, if that's not a breakdown, I'd like to see what is. But from a long distance away, maybe through binoculars. And on Brexit, the ex-head of the MI6 said David Cameron had been unwise to put the decision of the EU membership to the British people. Unwise. That sounds about right too.
I think this is nonsense.
He said that decision now taken, the country is very badly divided. Our standing in the world is severely diminished as a consequence of the way in which we are handling all that. I think he's calling you a numpty, David Cameron. We're still not missing you, by the way, but we know where we can find you. In the shed where they keep the tools. He said, "I don't think the situation is irretrievable." This is the MI6 fella. The spook. He said, "I don't think the situation is irretrievable, but we're going through a very difficult period as a country." And that would seem to be indisputable. Unless you have a campaign to run, and you're running on the ticket that everything will be huge and tremendous and great. You know, just like Donny does. I feel that Donald Trump has actually won. If it was the world against Donald Trump won, because the world is bending itself into a reflection of Donald Trump. But politicians these days have realised that you don't actually have to know anything. You don't have to know any detail. You don't have to say anything that's even true. You just spout a load of old flannel, and by the time a journalist has put their finger in the air and said, "No, those details aren't quite correct," you've told another 52 lies. I mean, talk about easy. MPs used to bother themselves with things like facts and detail. What a waste of time. You don't have to do any of that. And I feel that they're just realising that now. Ian Duncan Smith described the former MI6 chief Sir John Sawyer's comments as anti-democratic. You know, when he said that we shouldn't have been asked that very, very complicated but seemingly simple question. And he was completely correct in every respect. We don't have the mental capacity as drooling yeehaws, members of the general public. We couldn't possibly bend our tiny minds around such a complicated construct as whether we should be in or out of the EU. I mean, people went in there and they just answered another question. Mostly it was, do you like foreigners? The answer is obviously no. Nobody likes anybody that doesn't walk, talk and squawk exactly like they do. And Ian Duncan Smith bridled at the very idea that we're not, we don't have brains giant enough to be able to figure all that out. Undemocratic, he said he was. Not undemocratic, anti-democratic. That's one louder. Ian Duncan Smith said the reality is that the expression of democracy may well frighten him slightly. Asking the people what they think. Frightening? You bet it is. Never ask the people what they think, because the danger is they might tell you. And Ian Duncan Smith said he disagreed with the argument that Britain's membership of the EU should not have been put on a public ballot. He said the truth is the British people were asked a very serious question, and this whole leadership election comes down to a simple factor. We have not delivered on what we asked, on what they asked, the people. So the decision that the membership take is who will now deliver on it by the 31st of October. Well, I agree that the question was serious, but its detail was left unsaid or glossed over as simple and easy. You know, the easiest deal in history, that sort of thing. I mean, either ignorance or lies were peddled, and ever since, people acting in their own interests have kidded on that the answer to a simple question can be used to answer many more highly complex ones, like the idea that people voted out and wanted to leave with no deal or on a certain date or any of that stuff, which is obviously untrue. And people who assert that the referendum result means anything other than a tiny minority of those who voted wanted to leave based on a pack of misinformation and wishes and fantasies and lies that they were told is a liar or a fantasist living in a world of make-believe.
Rock and roll!
See? Perfect pitch. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
This is absolute tosh.
Raymond says, what is your preferred drink during these wonderful summer times? Excellent question. Let's deal with that. Coffee, tea, chocolate Nesquik, water, wine of all colours, margarita. I think that about covers it. Here's a call in Newham. Aisha.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Do you think we're going to have Boris Johnson as the next Prime Minister?
That's what they're telling us.
Oh, no. So what's going to happen about Brexit?
No. Oh, no. Now, are you annoyed or just disappointed?
I'm a bit shocked.
Shocked? Right. Neither of the above.
Huh?
Now, are you shocked because it's not going to be Jeremy Hunt, or are you just stunned that they put him forward at all?
I'm just stunned they put him forward.
Right, at all, right. You're holding your head in your hands, thinking, what a way to run a country.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Aisha?
I'm not doing anything.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are doing something. Liar! What are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be Boris Johnson apparently, because the Tory faithful think that he's a winner.
Oh, no.
Because he's the funny bloke off the TV. That's where we're at the moment. Nobody cares about detail. Nobody cares about the issues or anything like that. They just want a character. Like, they just want a Donald Trump, basically.
Oh, a mini Donald Trump.
A mini Donald Trump, yeah. I mean, he's got the hair going for him. He's got that svelte physique. What else do you want? All right, cheer up, Aisha. It might never oh, no, that's right. It already has. This says, what do you think about the financial hoodlum Lagarde being given the top bank job by the European Empire? Financial hoodlum? What are you talking about? You're talking about that paper-thin case that she had to answer for with the evidence was so weak against her that people were stunned that they came up with a guilty verdict. That. It was a parking fine, there or thereabouts. David says, I don't believe Brexit is the cause of this country's division, but was the result of this division. Wait, what? I don't believe Brexit is the cause of this country's division, but was the result of this division. We were divided long before Brexit. Well, maybe. I mean, we were divided along a multiplicity of lines. Some people liked United and some people liked City, for instance. I mean, when the kids are united, they will never be divided.
Rock and roll!
But they will never be united. It's a symptom, not a cause. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, something there or thereabouts. And Ahmed said, PM after PM proclaims their love for the Union, but they aren't willing to put a halt to Brexit. How can they call themselves Unionists if a Brexit would even lead to the slightest probability of Scottish independence? Well, it seems a bit rich to say that on the one hand you want to defend the democratic will of the people, and on the other hand you're not remotely interested in the democratic will of the people. a certain section of the people. I mean, you can have all of it or none of it, in my opinion. Kira in Brighton.
Hi, Nick. How you doing?
I am great, mate.
Oh, cool. Well, this one's going a bit wobbly, isn't it?
Excuse me?
I was just watching the Kaiser report, and he's saying the world.
Oh my God! Say that again. You were just watching the Kaiser report. The Kaiser report on Russia Today.
Oh no!
Oh, is that where you get your news?
No. It's just the Kaiser report I watch. I don't watch any. I just.
Okay
when
then.
I watch it because he talks.
Because I know why you watch it, because he's funny.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well. I like funny people.
Yeah, we like to get our news from comics these days.
Well, it stops us crying, doesn't it?
Well, if that's the alternative, then go ahead. Enjoy yourself.
What they're saying is, if they don't keep the interest rates low around the world, all the bad toxic debt packages will come up, and they won't be able to prolong them anymore, and it will all go bang.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you know a lot about it. Thanks for the warning, Kira. Fortunately, I don't have any money, so that won't be affecting me.
Oh, bless. No, me neither. Me neither. I just love a cup of tea and a cigarette. That'll do me.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Kira. Cup of tea and a cigarette. Wasn't that an album by Oasis? I think so. Abacus tweets, Imagine the lies our economy will collapse. That makes no sense. I'll just read the whole thing as it's written. Imagine the lies our economy will collapse. We will be a second-class nation in Europe. We are the fastest growing state. I think you just pulled letters out of a Scrabble bag. What on earth does that mean?
I don't know.
Well, you put it up there for me to read.
Enjoy it.
But no, you're absolutely right, Abacus. I couldn't have put it better myself. And David says, the people decided, now Boris must deliver on all the Conservatives will be over. Over. I think the death of the Conservative Party has been somewhat overstated. I mean, who's going to take over from them?
I'm a nutcase.
Oh, please, you've got to be kidding me. Foghorn Farage is never... I'd lay a small amount of money he's never going to make it as an MP, let alone PM. And Lawrence says, did you see a while back that Anne Widdecombe said science may produce an answer to being gay? And Stephen Fry's response was, but will science ever find an answer to Anne Widdecombe? Well, yes to the former and no to the latter. Poitou-Charentes, bonsoir, Sally.
Bonsoir, ça va?
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Great, mate.
About half
Is it
past
still
midnight.
baking hot in France?
Oh, today has been unbearable. You can't actually go outside.
You're joking.
No, it's been that hot.
How hot?
I don't know, because my temperature thing just doesn't go high.
It doesn't go up that high.
No, it doesn't.
Well, are roads melting? Have people run out of water?
I don't know, because I've not been out.
Oh, right.
You really can't go out.
Well, that's preposterous. I mean, is it 100 degrees?
I've no idea, but it's got to be 90-something.
Yeah, because that's as high as your thing goes.
Yes. And then it stops.
Well, Sally, we don't wish to know that because it's on the cool side here.
I know, down to 7 degrees in rural areas. Yeah.
I'm stunned. It keeps showing us summer and then taking it away again.
Oh, it'll bring it back. We'll send you something.
Hey, you know what? It's going to be 65 tonight.
Oh, that's quite nice.
No, worse than that. It's 65 now. It's going to be 59.
Oh.
Exactly.
Gosh.
59 and raining. So please tell us again about how miserable it is having hot heat.
Yeah, okay. Well, something that travels between the UK and France is the exchange rate.
Yeah.
Between sterling and the euro.
Mm-hmm.
And at midnight, roundabout, in your last show, a guy rang up and seemed to be under the impression that there hadn't been much change in the exchange rate.
People seem to think that because somebody hasn't come in and physically taken their money away.
Right. Well, I can tell them that the year before the the actual referendum, my pension payment was €531. This is a state pension.
Right.
Basic pension.
Yeah.
The month after the actual referendum, it went down to 502. This June, despite the fact that each year I seem to get a £2 a week increase.
Don't spend it all in the same shop, Sally.
This question not being able to spend it at all, because my payment after 4 years of increases of about £2 a week went down to €479.
Wow, from 550 to 479.
Yeah.
Blimey.
So
from peak to trough, the pound has tanked from before the referendum about 20%.
Exactly. And the thing is that, it's really quite difficult to manage. I mean, that payment is for 4 weeks.
Well, at least you don't have to spend any money on heating.
It's freezing here in winter. 2
Really?
years ago,
blimey, it's too hot, it's too cold.
Stop whining.
2 years ago, I was rushed to hospital with hypothermia.
Really?
Yeah, I had collapsed.
What's a French hospital like?
Very nice, in intensive care.
Right, okay.
I got to know them quite well.
Yes.
I was there 2 years before that as well. Anyway, the slightly annoying thing about the pension thing is that you don't know for sure that it's going to arrive on the same day, because it actually comes from an American bank.
Wait, the British pension is paid via an American bank?
Yes, because when the first time it was late, I just assumed, oh, that's okay, busy time of the year. And then it happened again a few months later, and then it happened again a few months later. And I thought, I'm going to have to ring up about this and find out, because you expect to be able to go shopping on one day, and if the money's not there, it's kind of difficult. So I rang up, and they said that I should make myself aware of all the American bank holidays so that I can understand that my payment may be 1 or 2 days late.
Well, I think they had a pretty superior attitude there. I don't think I appreciated the way that they put that.
Well, exactly. I didn't like it, but I just put the phone down.
Make yourself aware. They think they are.
Yes. Well, I mean, like, it's easy to know when the American bank holidays are.
Well, so what's that about? Are people regularly paid their British pension via an American bank?
Yes.
Well, this is... I'm stunned. Why doesn't it come directly from the government?
Well, why don't they post letters through the post? I mean, when I was in hospital, right, in intensive care, they actually sent me a letter asking me to approve that I was still alive. They do this every 2 years.
Now, wait a minute. See, if they don't get a response, then do they just assume that you're not?
You're given 6 weeks from the date of the letter to reply. Well, they actually send a form that you have to have signed by either your doctor or the bank or some professional solicitor or...
So you can't tell them yourself that you're still alive? You not being an expert?
No, exactly.
Right. So a doctor has to give you a once-over and say, yep, pretty sure she's still alive.
Well, that's it. But the thing is, it takes 4 weeks for that letter to arrive because they send all their post through the Netherlands.
What?
Because
so it goes from Britain to the Netherlands and then to France.
Yes.
Because that's the most efficient way of getting the message across.
Well, they've obviously got a deal, in terms of, But yes, because the uprating letters also come through the Netherlands. But, when you're in hospital and it takes 4 weeks to actually get to France, and then somebody's got to bring it to you in hospital.
course, if you don't respond within 6 weeks, then someone comes over and cuts your oxygen off.
Well, they certainly cut
You're
your
not needing it
payments off.
anymore.
No, they tell you if you don't reply within 6 weeks, then you automatically don't get any pension.
Yeah. Well, make sure you always open your mail, regardless of where it comes from. Here, I've got to go, Sally, but all the best.
Okay, I was going to say
Go on.
about Anne Widdecombe.
Oh, too
But
late.
I'll leave that another time.
Another time. All right. I'm
Okay,
sure she'll still be out there, haunting our dreams. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. 10.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Nobody knows who the hell he is.
Tony says Carol McGiffin is a great pick for podcast secretary. Very talented. And Boris Rees-Mogg or Uncle Nigel would be an incredible pick for the next James Bond. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast with Carol McGiffin, by the way. I used to do a show with her on LBC a really, really long time ago, which was a big laugh. And so I'm really pleased to be back working with her again. We're going to do a podcast that's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? In which we try to solve your problems. And I've got a dedicated email address if you would like to put your problems for us to solve in an unserious manner. We've had some excellent ones come in already. And if you want to write this down, it's nickandcarol@global.com. That's it. Not ampersand, it's spelt out. nickandcarol@global.com. If you tell us what your problem is, we'll try and sort it out for you. The podcast will be hitting the internet soon. It's not out yet, but it'll be out soon. That's me and Carol McGiffin, our new podcast called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, and that'll be out shortly. And that email address again, nickandcarol@global.com for your problems. Let's have a call in Malta. Joe.
Hello, Nick. Thank you for your program. I think it's a contribution to democracy, making a lampoon of politicians.
Thanks, Joe.
I want to comment on Anne Widdecombe's maiden speech at the European Parliament.
Yeah.
I think she was either being silly or she was suffering for amnesia about colonialism. So I sent her an email asking her, given that they say that the European Union is not democratic, because of the Commission, the way it is elected,
yes.
I told her how she explains the presence of the permanent members in the Security Council of the United Nations, which are permanent.
And you
appointed after the war, and
Hey, Joe.
I didn't receive a reply. I didn't receive a reply.
Hey, Joe, you sent that on email.
On email, yes.
Yeah,
and I didn't receive a reply.
seriously doubt Anne Widdecombe does email.
Really?
Yeah, you should have sent her a telegram or something. Or maybe Morse code would have been better.
She doesn't have internet, I think.
I wouldn't I imagine she has any idea what that is.
I think she's one of those who read comics, as you said earlier.
Yeah. Okay, what's the weather like in Malta, Joe?
Oh, it's very hot, 27.
Okay, well, we don't wish to know that. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. The weather here is just properly rubbish. Look at it. I am not completely satisfied. 59 degrees it's going to be this evening.
Oh, fabulous.
59. That is awful. And raining as well. And 66 is going to be the high tomorrow. I can't stand it anymore. It keeps showing us summer and then taking it away again, which is okay if it's May, but not July. 70 degrees on Monday, and raining towards the end of the week, and then sort of mid-70s with a bit of sun next week. That's what they say now. Meanwhile, in Glasgow. Do you really want me to tell you what the weather's going to be like in Glasgow?
No.
It's, whatever you expect it's going to be like, that's what you'll get. The sun, very, very overrated. Islington. Hello, Steve.
Nick.
Steve.
Why do you hate your country, man?
I hate my country so much. Why are you so unpatriotic, Nick?
I want one of those Article 24 contracts. I've got to get me one of those Article 24.
Hey, Steve, talk directly into the phone, please.
I said I've got to get one of those Article 24 contracts. I said it allows you to leave and keep all the benefits as if you'd never left.
Oh.
It's fantastic. And they keep going on about it. There's only one problem. You have to get the other party to agree to it.
Yeah, that's the big. That is the big issue. I try to put that to the people who run my gym, but can I leave and not pay, but still use your facilities? And they seem to have a problem with that.
Well, it's a small issue of about an agreement, but I'm sure that the best brains in Britain can come to an agreement if we're just given enough time to sort it out.
Really? The best brains in Britain, and are those going to be available to move into number 10 anytime soon?
Well, you seem to be forgetting we've got a secret weapon, and the secret weapon is we buy more from them than they buy from us.
Yeah, it's better than that, Steve. I think you'll find that they need us more than we need them. Yeah.
Well, I know you're good at maths, Nick, because I've heard you on the radio.
I am.
And it's fantastic. So you'll understand that as we import more from them and we put more tariffs on them, it's really going to hurt them.
Yeah. They'll be on their knees begging.
Even though we're the ones who are going to pay tariffs.
Yeah, but these are small details and facts, Steve, and no one is remotely interested in those anymore. Keep up.
But they are workable, and it's and this is what I'm continually hearing this day in and day out. But the finest brains in the world, like Boris Johnson.
Well, exactly. When are you going to take this on board, Steve? Just accept that it's true. All you have to do is believe. That was his latest thing. That's Boris Johnson's latest thing. All we've got to do is believe, have a positive mental attitude.
Well, is there anybody left who we haven't called a traitor? I mean, at the moment, it's the whole of the civil service by the sound of things. It's now the MI6.
Yeah.
I think even it was the head of Vote Leave, what was it, Michael Gove, was a traitor. And we've even called the Queen a traitor.
Yeah, the only person that's left is little baby Archie. Ah, he's not a traitor. Not yet.
See the pictures on Instagram.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Steve. 0345 6060 973. Paul in Lewisham says, you're always slagging off decent people. Who, me? You said that Donald Trump would be an awful president, but in fact he turned out to be the most successful and most popular US president ever. Are you kidding? There's another fellow who gets his news from Donald Trump's Twitter feed. I wonder what category he falls into.
I love the poorly educated.
Yeah, probably. He says you slag off Nigel Farage, and yet Nigel is the leader of the most successful political party at the moment. Based on what? Based on one poll in a right-wing newspaper. Is that what you're saying? And can we please bury this idea that Nigel Farage took that party and made it from nothing into this giant edifice of power? It did nothing of the sort. It's the same party as it's always been. It's the Nigel Farage party.
We've got a few idiots in our party.
It wasn't UKIP, and it's not the Brexit party or anything like that. It's the Nigel party. It's the same one it ever was. The song remains the same, even if the name of the band changes. Anyway, it continues. God, it's a very long message. This is like a pamphlet. Is it worth reading? He says, you're slagging off Boris Johnson, but he will be the best Prime Minister ever. He will lower taxes for people. He will create millions of jobs. He will increase GDP, and he will make the UK great again, because he will take us out of the EU. You're so out of touch, Nick. Karen McGiffin will probably put you right. Well, Karen McGiffin tries to put me right on a wide variety of issues. We agree on nothing at all, which makes her incorrect in every respect. I've tried to explain this to her, but she just doesn't seem to understand. I suspect, Paul, that you are trolling me. Back under your bridge, troll. Jeff Tex, you're a movie fan. Good news. Rambo 5 is out in September.
Oh, no.
I thought they must have had 5 already. Haven't they had 5 already? Unfortunately, I've never seen a single one. But, why would you? Why would you? I can't go down that low. You want to listen to that for an hour and a half? Duncan in London says, please stop giving us American temperatures. I don't understand 59 and 65. Degrees Celsius, please. I'm very confused now. No, we don't do degrees Celsius because that is filthy foreign temperature. We do British Fahrenheit. Like we measure things in inches and pints. It's the British way to divide things by 12 and 16. It's easier that way. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Now, as well as this podcast that I'm going to be doing with Carol McGiffin, which is forthcoming, not out yet, but it will be, called where we try to put your problems right. I have my own, which is the best of this show and some little extra bits in there as well. And the most recent one is up, and I think it's a laugh from start to finish. There's some really great calls in it, and I expect that you will love it. It's called the Nick Abbot Habit. It's available on Global Player, which is the app that we have here. It's available at your app store for nothing. It is absolutely chock full, stuffed it is, of things to listen to, all the stations that we do, and you can listen back to whole shows and a multiplicity of podcasts. Scroll down to the Global Podcast and way over to the right and you'll find my podcast there. It's called the Nick Abbot Habit, or you can just Google it. Other search engines are available, but nobody ever uses them. Oh, I want to talk about Googling and Boris in a minute, because a lot of people have been writing about him and his bus hobby. Anybody actually believe that?
No.
So I'll talk about that in a while. But yeah, if you want to hear it, then ask for it by name. The podcast is called The Nick Abbot Habit.
The Night Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hi, honey. How are you?
My glamorous assistant is asking, can I delete yesterday's messages? Yeah, you can delete today's as well.
Some are quite funny.
Are they? Well, then don't.
I'll keep the funny ones.
Okay, then. Stephen Upminster says, I didn't realise Bojo was up against Alan Bennett. A Jeremy Hunt impression homework needed, please. No, I do a superb Jeremy Hunt impression. I can't remember what it was that he was talking about yesterday, but he was trying to assert his authority on the audience. Make out he was a macho man. How did that go, by the way?
Oh, fabulous.
And he was telling them how he was going to say no. I can say no, he said.
No.
And he said, it went something like, I will draw myself up to my biggest height and I'll say no. Something like that. Is that right? Perfect. No work required. He says, top marks for Anne Widdecombe, though, right up there with your Andy Murray impression. Excellent work. Hey, how did Andy Murray do, by the way? Did he win?
He won.
He won! Yeah. I'm really, really happy with my performance, and I'm really having a great time at Wimbledon, because mostly it's the fans. I really love my fans, but I really hate the English. The one thing that he can't do when he stops actually playing is become a pundit. I mean, nobody who sounds that boring and bored can possibly be a pundit, can they? Mind you, you can't be serious as a pundit, so I suppose anything's possible. Catford, hello, Steve.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible to classify 17 million people or whatever it was. I mean, they keep telling us these figures and keep telling us the will of the people and all this business.
Classify them as what?
Idiots.
I think it's way more than that. I'd say about 65 million people at current estimates.
Well, as you always say, I know people as well, and they're blooming awful.
I'm getting less keen on people the older I get.
Yes.
Is that just me? Or is it? I think it's most people, isn't it? And it's probably because the more people you meet, the more you have it underlined that people are the problem. They're not the solution. People are the problem.
Yeah. I'm with you there. But a vote based on emotion and reaction and nastiness and hateful stuff that's been pumped into our veins for 40 years is not a good way to generate a healthy public debate.
Yeah, you don't want to put that in the sat-nav for the country and have that determine where you're going. But that's not really the it of it. People that had a bit of a rum deal in life were told that the reason that your life didn't work out like a Kardashian is because of here's a list of grievances that we will fix as long as you put your cross in the correct box. And they thought, well, nothing else has worked, so why not this? And that's the reason that they're all very, very angry, is because I think that there is the dawning realisation that they've been had.
Yeah, they have been had, but they're not accepting it. But if I could sort of divert slightly, Nick,
we're going to divert.
Do you remember? You remember in the 80s, Ghost Town by the Specials?
Yes.
Kind of reflected a view of what was going on in Britain at that time.
Yeah.
In particularly up in the Midlands and the North.
Well, everywhere.
Ghost Town.
That video looked like the 1970s. It was Britain was on its last legs. Yes.
So a song kind of encapsulated what young people were thinking.
What we really, really want is another Margaret Thatcher.
No, it's not what we want. But I'm just wondering where the music is that's reflecting what's happening now.
Oh,
maybe
right.
I'm old and grey and useless now. But so I don't know. Maybe there's great stuff, grime or whatever they call it.
Grime
is Stormzy and all that. I'm down with the kids, but
I very much doubt that, Steve.
Is reflecting what is happening now, but doesn't seem to be like even the Clash London Calling was a kind of reflection of what people were feeling.
Where are the people that are writing the protest songs? Is that what you're saying? Yes. Well, there ain't none.
Well, it kind of feels odd that we're in such a unstable situation in our country's history, and no one is reflecting it.
Yeah, I think that is probably right. Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know. Maybe it's you. Who knows?
Me?
I mean, you could be the Bob Dylan of. I'm sure you've got a better voice.
Well, that isn't stressing it. That isn't stressing the possibilities too far. But I'm the new Bob Dylan. Well, okay, here's my new hit, "Tangled Up in Poo." It's a song about Brexit.
That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Here's the about the most popular song of the last 5 years. The lyrics: "I'm in love with your body, oh 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 oh. I'm in love with your body, oh 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 oh. I'm in love with your body, oh 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 oh. I'm in love with your body."
Okay.
Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with the shape of you. Ed Sheeran.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's a nice lad, but. Blooming useless as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ed. You've delighted us enough.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, they're playing in Hyde Park, apparently.
Who are?
I mean,
who are?
There's still Neil Young and Bob Dylan.
Are playing in Hyde Park? When?
What, tonight? As far as I know.
I'm sorry, I've got to go. Oh, wait, no, they'll be finished already, won't they? Neil Young and Bob Dylan are playing this evening in Hyde Park. You've got to be kidding me.
No. Well, I could be wrong. It could be next week, but it's definitely happening. So that'll be something.
Are you sure? Bob Dylan and Neil Young on the same stage?
Well, not together. They're Bob Dylan's coming on, and then Neil Young's coming on.
No, probably the other way around, surely.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, but that's my point. Where's
the new Bob Dylan?
In literature, in this is a horrible period we're going through. And no one's reflecting it.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. Yeah, but maybe give them time.
Yeah, maybe the historians must be rubbing their hands together.
Oh, the historians they can't keep up with the present. Never mind about the past.
No, I mean we could have a fat idiot pre-Rogan or whatever they call Parliament saying that Parliament can't do this and can't do that, and the Queen saying, "Well, you have to do it." I don't know.
And our top musicians are writing about how they love someone's body. Yeah.
Yes.
Down with the important issues. Well, those have always been the important issues. Kids having sex with, interfering with each other's clothing.
Disgusting.
Awful. But do they have to write so many songs about it? All right, leave it with me, Stephen. I'll sort it. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Stephen Upminster says, I didn't realise Bojo was up against... No, I've read that. Anne says, don't mention Carol again tonight, please. Why not? I'm jealous. What does that mean?
I think she wants you to do.
Oh, she wants me. What?
She wants you to do a podcast with her.
Oh, with her? Well, I don't know who she is. Stephen in Newham, maybe, says, your Jeremy Hunt impression is the same as your Gavin Williamson one. He should just tell Boris to shut up and go away. Well, I think Gavin Williamson is about 50 miles north, there or thereabouts. All of these impressions are perfectly on the nose and utterly precise. I think you all agree with that, eh?
No.
Kevin in Edgware says, you and Nigel Farage work in the same building. If you meet him on your travels at work, do you speak to him? I know you work at different times, but it could happen. Also, what's the car you were driving these days? Because Steve Allen couldn't tell us listeners. Well, Steve Allen's got no idea what I drive. I do know that I wouldn't dare park it next to his car because people would be just pointing and laughing at mine. I haven't spoken to Nigel Farage. I've been in his presence. I've been in the presence of Uncle Nige. But I've never had the occasion to speak to him. He's peered at me. He was peering at me the other day. I was in here with the Carol. We were doing our thing. And I was turfed out of my studio. Even though I had booked it. I don't know why Nigel Farage was peering at me. Through the door there. But it made me very uncomfortable. Why can't you just leave me alone? Trevor says Boris is like a garden bridge over troubled water. Well, that's about the only thing that I really want. Well, no, that's actually not true. Two things that Boris came up with, but they weren't his ideas, but he appended his name to them. The bridge over the Thames, which I thought was an excellent idea, and I would have enjoyed sitting on there, in amongst the greenery, looking at the skyline. That would have been wonderful. Because you can't really do that from a London bridge, apart from the footbridge over by the embankment. So you can do that, so forget everything I just said. And also the airport, of course. It's absolutely stupid that they're going to increase the size of Heathrow. They should shut Heathrow down completely and build a new airport out Essex way. Just stick it over the water. And, OK, there'll be a few ducks that are inconvenienced. But I'm sure they'll get the idea and fly away. That's what ducks do, ain't it? But apart from those two ideas, nothing else he's ever said on any subject makes sense to me. But I'll get into more of that in a moment after the new news at 11. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Okie dokie.
Fiscal headroom. What's Boris Johnson talking about? We ain't got no fiscal headroom. We're up to our eyeballs in debt, and the amount that we owe keeps increasing by the minute. Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. It just keeps going up and up and up. Fiscal headroom. What's he talking about? I'll get onto that in a minute. Gorvind, Ealing.
Hello.
Hello.
Nick, I called you to tell you about the lady who had rung you about half an hour ago, saying that she has to get her pension letter certified.
Oh, yeah.
Which is absolutely true, because a lot of insurance companies, after paying pension day in and day out, years, have to have a letter certified after 2-3 years from all those pensioners who get pension to make sure that they're still alive. She was absolutely right.
Right. Well, I suppose that makes sense.
Yes, because you see, what's happening is sometimes people get the pension for years and years, and after they pass away, nobody advises the pension companies that this is what has happened.
Yeah.
And that's the reason most of the insurance companies, after 2 or 3 years, send a letter to all pensioners asking them to have this certified that they're still alive.
Now, I wonder how they word it. Can you please confirm that you are still alive? But see, if they were dead, then they wouldn't be reading it, so...
No, it's addressed to them to say that you're in receipt of pension, and can you please tell us that you're still at this address and this is your bank account and things like that.
Right, so they don't say, can you please tell us if you're dead or not?
No, certainly not.
So it would be assumed if they can, if they respond, then they are still with us.
Yes, that's right.
But you see, now, if, but they would, I think what she said probably makes sense, that she would have to get somebody to sign off on her being alive. She couldn't just do it herself, because it could be, a relative who says, oh, yeah, she's still alive.
Not necessarily a relative. Some insurance companies would like the letter to be notarized or things like that, or signed somebody known in the community, like a doctor or
solicitor
or
a doctor or a DJ. Hey, something like that. Someone trustworthy.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, can you just confirm for me at this moment, Gorvin? I'm not asking you to look into the future, but at this moment right now, are you still alive?
You take a guess.
Well, see, now, I don't know one way or the other, and you can't prove it. So I'll just assume that the answer is yes until proven otherwise. All right.
Your assumption is correct.
Thanks a lot, Gorvin. 0345 6060 973. Paul in Slough says, does this Carol McGiffin news means that she will be returning to your sound clips? I miss booze. I miss that stuff as well. I used to do a show with Carol McGiffin, and I used to cut up what she said and use it as sound clips in much the same way as I use Arnold Schwarzenegger now.
Yes.
See? And I still find myself thinking in the sounds of those clips. When I say booze, I'm thinking of her saying booze and all sorts of other things that she used to say, because she is intrinsically funny. And so when the podcast comes out, I will let you know when it is. It is. We've put up together some already with some problems that we had from people that we knew, and it's funny stuff. I think you're going to like it. Let me remind you about the email again. If you want to be a part of that podcast, it's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? And the dedicated email address for your problems to get us to deal with them in an unserious manner is nickandcarol@global.com. It's not Nick ampersand Carol. You spell it out, nickandcarol@global.com. And on that subject, somebody is shouting at me for saying, it's Buster tweet, stop saying ampersand, it's ampersand. I thought I was saying ampersand. Doesn't ampersand and ampersand sound almost exactly the same? A little bit. Canterbury, hello Tim. Oh, that didn't work. You really do have to hit this screen very, very hard. A little too hard, really. I'm frightened of breaking it. If you break it, you bought it. Canterbury, hello Tim.
Yeah, I was just thinking if Boris actually finally gets through, we won't be having Heathrow runway 3. We'll be going back to Boris Island. where he could possibly take out half the southeast coast, as well as.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Did I get anything on you? Oh, that was fantastic. Oh, I need to lie down and a cigarette. Oh, I'm spent, Tim. Totally exhausted. How was it for you?
Well, I'm just glad I don't live that way anymore.
So anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, no, Boris, he dropped it Heathrow 3 to build his Boris Island out into the Thames.
Yeah. Well, he said he was going to lie down in front of the diggers, didn't he? I'd like to see. In fact, I'd pay at least £5 to see that. I'd pay the £149 that it would cost to go and see Bob Dylan to see Boris Johnson lie down in front of moving diggers.
So will I.
Okay, so that's 149 times 2. It's like 149. So it's like 190. It's like £500. £500 between us.
Oh, I'll pay for you, Nick.
Oh, you'll pay for me? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then please write a cheque and stick it to the following address. Thanks a lot, Tim. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, what do you say to that, Boris? You were going to lie down in front of the diggers. Still going to do it?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I'll take that as a no. Stephen in Richmond says, does Brian from Stockton know that the EU is a £23 trillion economy and the UK is less than £2 trillion? But they need us more than we need them. Well, there's no evidence to suggest that 2 is a smaller number than 23. I mean, maths isn't really a science. It's all about feelings now, baby. Keep up. Paul in Ealing says, you keep slagging Donald Trump off, yet if we were invaded by a foreign power, you would soon be begging the Yanks for help. Invaded by a foreign power. Does that actually sound likely?
Negative.
I mean, who's going to invade us? And what would they invade us for? It's much more likely that we're going to invade someone else. Or rather, Donald Trump is going to invade someone else, and it looks like Iran is being fitted up for that purpose.
I'll bring us into war.
And our leaders are already forming an orderly queue behind him to get stuck in. Because it would be just like with George W.
Absolutely.
As soon as they say, let's get locked and loaded, or cocked and loaded, as Donald Trump said. Cocked and loaded. What a numpty. As soon as the action starts, then we'll be right along beside you. Or you can put us in your bag, carry us along like one of them lap dogs. Painful. Paul says, Boris, will also cost the country nearly 10 billion quid a year by lowering taxes for the richest us. Yet, us, he's a dear do as PM, ain't he? What? That's what it says. Do you want me to read it again?
No.
He says, Boris will also cost the country nearly 10 billion quid a year by lowering taxes for the richest us. He's a dear do as PM, ain't he? No doubt. He's got to live somewhere now, though. Does that make any sense?
I think so.
No, it doesn't. Will you explain it to me then? Yes?
Yes. Which one was this?
Oh, so you didn't even hear it? Oh, my God. It's worse than I thought. He's not even listening to this show. He's in there listening to Classic FM. Well, I know it's relaxing, but I'm trying to do a program about the issues here. Can you believe that? Does that make sense? Answer, yes. You explain it to me. Which one were you talking about? I am stunned. You see what I have to deal with here? Not that I'm complaining or anything.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC.
LBC. Abbot. On LBC, call 0345 6060 973.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
Yes, sadly, this is all I've got. Rob tweets, your Sylvester Stallone impression is the same as your Andy Murray impression. Is Sly Scottish? I think I've read that too. Keith says, Nick, wall-to-wall Wimbledon coverage must be costing a fortune and goes on and on without end in sight like a Rush track. I can never get into Rush. It's just the sound of that guy's voice. I mean, he takes the sound that the fellow that sings with Yes, and he turns it up to 11. It's like he's got his bits in a vice. Nobody sings that high. It's just painful to listen to. Couldn't stand Rush. And I can't stand tennis either. I'm not exactly being very positive, am I?
Stop whining.
Boris Johnson channeled Donald Trump by vowing to make Britain the greatest place on earth. See? Positivity. Boris Johnson is our version of Donald Trump. I'm going to make Britain great again. It'll be huge. Someone who speaks in three-word slogans, makes up his own facts, ignores the actual facts and invents problems so he can say he's the one to solve them. Oh, thank you. Now, this is hey, where's the spoon? Normally I get my own coffee, because I'm a good boy, I am. It's not like the Steve Allen show, where he's got like clouds of assistants to do his bidding for him. I make my own coffee, me. And I pre-make it, so all I've got to do is, at the required time, go and fill it up with water, because I've pre-measured the coffee. And the last time, but this is sticky. Is this the same spoon?
It's the same spoon.
But how do I know that?
It's definitely the same spoon.
Okay then. I don't know. I wouldn't have made the spoon sticky. Why is it sticky?
Because there was sugar in it.
Yeah, but not at the end. Oh, okay then. This better be the same spoon, or I'll kill you. And I don't mean that euphemistically either. I mean I'm actually going to kill you. See, now the last time, all he had to do was put water in it, and the last time I ran out of time, and I couldn't do it myself, it tasted like I was licking a dead fish. So I'll just let it cool down a bit, and then I'll check his work. All he has to do is put boiling water in it and a dash of milk. Boris Johnson channeled Donald Trump, said he was going to make Britain the greatest place on earth. He actually said that all this country needs is self-belief to get a good Brexit deal. You know, just like in the fairy tales. Believe and it will be true. And the battle for the keys to Downing Street is heating up, if you believe what's in the press, although I think it's a done deal already. We're going to get Bozo the Clown, who's going to be our next Dreer leader. We'll have an unelected Prime Minister answering to an unelected head of state overseen by an unelected upper house. Truly, we're getting democracy back. Boris Johnson is the favourite over Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, having promised that he will ensure that the UK leaves the EU at the end of October, come what may. And I don't think that he will. When we get there, and we ain't got no deal, and we are looking into a financial abyss, I think he'll pull back and say, hey, please disregard everything I've ever said on any subject whatsoever. I didn't mean it. He just won't. And not only that, he's promised just a vast list of things that I bet he won't. That I bet won't come true. Going to pull us out come the end of October, come what may. 20,000 new police persons on the beat. Tax cuts for the rich. He's going to hose us down with money. Just don't ask how he's going to pay for it. I mean, those are details and facts, and nobody's interested in those anymore. And he was talking in the news there about fiscal headroom. Oh, don't worry about the money. We've got tons of money. We've got fiscal headroom, whatever that means. But I don't care what it means. We ain't got it. We ain't got no fiscal headroom in this country. Johnson said, I will set out a vision for Britain as the greatest place on earth, the greatest place to be, the greatest place to live, to raise a family. This is all just the lines to get a round of applause from his immediate audience. It's just a load of old flannel. He's just doing his act, which is why he's going to become our next president, our next king, our next leader. Because he's got a good act. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
He said it's going to be the greatest place to send your kids to school, the greatest place to breathe clean air. The greatest place to start a business, the place where you'll find the most exciting tech scene, the most exciting academic culture, the most cutting-edge businesses of all kinds, but also a place where we improve the environment, we improve quality of life for everybody, because we're uniting the country and bringing it together. That's what I want to do, he said. And we will beat them in the air, and we will beat them in the water, and we will beat them on the land. And we will never surrender. Meanwhile, the other fella said that he was going to hose Britain down with money that we haven't got as well. Just don't ask them where they're going to find it. Oh, we'll get it out of fiscal headroom. Jeremy Hunt, the Foreign Secretary, said that under his plans, the government would guarantee that no one will have to sell their home to cover their care costs, because he's found a magic money tree. In return for people being incentivised to save for their needs, he said the state would pledge to cap the cost of care, and we can't afford that. We know that that's not affordable. We're all getting older and we're living longer, and the cost of care is escalating too. Ever more exciting new drugs are being delivered to us every day in every way.
Want to score some pot?
We're getting higher and higher. Let me remind you, we have no money. We've got debt. Up to our eyeballs in debt we are. Our government debt is increasing every second of every minute. I mean, it's already almost 90% of our total yearly income. And our private debt, that's government debt, private debt's through the roof too. I mean, taken together, have a wild stab in the dark how much each person in this country owes. You know, if you take all government debt, all unfunded debt, pensions, etc. and so on, private debt, credit cards, the lot. Every single woman, man and child in this country owes £78,000 each. That's 4.8 trillion, which is a number so large I don't even know what it is. So all that talk about the Chancellor's £28 billion Brexit bonus is money that doesn't exist. Fiscal headroom. What's he on about? I mean, we're borrowing more and more money every year just to get by. We borrowed £42 billion last year just to cover our running costs. And we're going to do that again next year, and then the year after that, and the year after that, no doubt. That's the deficit. And people who are trying to persuade you that everything is rosy say, oh, the deficit's going down, And people think, oh, well, thank goodness for that. The amount of money that we owe is going down. No, the amount of money that we owe keeps going up. It's just the amount that we borrow from year to year just to get by is going down a little bit. We borrowed $42 billion last year. Do you know how well, let's talk the year before that. That year we borrowed $48 billion. And you know how much we paid in interest? On the interest on the money that we owe as a country? $42 billion. We borrowed $48 billion, and our interest payments were $42 billion. That's on the debts that we already have. That's 8% of all the money the government creams off us poor dopes who pay taxes goes to paying interest on the loans that we already have. Can you believe it? Do you want me to give you those numbers again?
No.
No, we borrowed $48 billion. Our interest payments are $42 billion.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
And that $42 billion is, of course, taken from the masses. And where does it go? I'm glad you asked. Well, to a great extent, it goes to those in the private sector who are doing the lending. This country is one giant engine that takes money from the poor and gives it to the rich, who, in great number, don't even live here. You know, about a third of our debt is held overseas, like American investment trusts, Japanese banks, families, that kind of thing. 5% is owned by people. Not companies or organisations or like financial institutions. Actual people. 5%. So over a third of the money that we pay interest on is paid to private or foreign entities. People who don't even live here. 28% is owned by pension funds and insurance companies, and a lot is owned by private individuals and corporations. I mean, we're already living way beyond our means, borrowing money that we're paying interest on that will have to be repaid eventually, but politicians don't seem to be bothered by any of that, because that's going to be somebody else's problem. That's the future. And plus, they'll be all right, Jack, because the MPs' pension's totally safe, even if yours isn't. And both Jeremy Hunt and Boris Johnson are promising things they've got no idea how to deliver, or probably no intention of delivering on, because that's the modern way. Don't worry about the detail. Just to promise the earth and the sky and all of the stars in the heavens, and work out how you're going to explain why you couldn't deliver it later, or just do what Donald Trump does. Just lie your face off and say you've done it already. He said,
I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall.
He isn't building a wall. His latest thing is to say, I've completed vast sections of wall, and I've redesigned the wall, and it's the most tremendous and beautiful and huge wall that has ever existed. He hasn't built any wall. But, you know, he's at one of his safe space rallies, and there's green-toothed, drooling yeehaws in his audience. No offence. I just want to whoop and cheer to, every passing comment. Are you people getting sick of winning yet?
Oh, shut up!
So Johnson and Hunt are in an arms race of mendacity. Vote for me and the skies will be bluer and everything will be lovelier and there will always be tea at 3. They are learning the lessons of Donald Trump. You don't have to know anything and you don't have to do anything. You just say that you will and say that you've been successful in everything. And the permanently uninformed will cheer and whoop and drink the Kool-Aid.
I love the poorly educated.
That's what will get you elected every time. Just don't dwell on facts, because we don't do those anymore. Grace in Ealing says, please can you do your Professor Brian Cox impression? It's so spot on. Well, he's not in the news, so I'm going to say no, Grace. But thanks for asking. Another satisfied customer. I just find him a little bit grating. Is it just me? I mean, I know he's tremendously successful. Professor Brian Cox. Plus, does he look like a professor?
No.
I find it a little bit hard to take. Does he even know what he's talking about? He doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about. He just sounds like some hippie. Like that. I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day. You remember that video that went viral quite a few years ago now of some guy who came upon a double rainbow? Remember that? It must be still available on the World Wide Web. Look it up. Oh, wow, double rainbow. You know, that guy. As though it was the most extraordinary thing he'd ever seen in his life.
Groovy.
Well, Professor Brian Cox is like that. You know, he'll be standing on the top of a mountain and the sun will be setting like behind him so that there's this, he's like a halo is cast around him and some helicopter will be going around. And it's all completely unnecessary and vast amounts of your money is being spent on giving you about 3 or 4 facts in 1 hour. Because he just stretches it out so much. Because, you know, the average intelligence, the people who... No, I'll back off. And I'll have another go at that. The people who make these programs think that the average intelligence of your average viewer is about that of a small soap dish. And so they don't bother you with facts like they used to do in the good old days. It were grand when I were a lad. Television that used to be educational would actually pummel you with facts. like Civilization or The Ascent of Man, you know, giants of television like that. These days it's all, oh, everything's so amazing, isn't it? Wow, it's like baby talk. But you know, times have moved on, and like I said, nobody's interested in facts anymore. So why bother? 0345 6060 973, Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC. Hey, look at the time. It's 11:30, the news headlines with Andy Ivey.
On LBC, call 0345 6060 973.
Please hold the line. I'm trying to connect you.
Yes, I'll connect you in one moment. First off, here's some messages that have come in. Fran says, how's the new car? Are you back to using your old one? How can you have room to park 2 cars at home? You must live somewhere posh. I've never had the opportunity to park 2 cars at home. I do not live somewhere posh. I am not, and I am back to using the old one, and my new one still doesn't work. It's still in about 3,000 different bits in a garage. Not that I'm complaining or anything.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Sue in Worcester says, I saw Bob Dylan and Van Morrison play in Birmingham in 2008. Dylan rocked, but Van Morrison was completely up his own. Very bad word beginning with the letter A. Sue, the mouth on you.
Disgusting.
Well, you know, that's Van Morrison. He's famously tetchy. I think I saw Van Morrison at Glastonbury a really, really long time ago. Maybe it was early 80s, something like that. I think I did, but, you know, I can't remember. I remember snippets here and there of various times that I went to Glastonbury. Because I went from 1982, I went about 10 years straight. What I did when I went there, I've got no idea. Some years I went and I didn't see any bands at all. I know that that's absolutely true. But as for what I was doing when I was there, I can't remember. I can't barely remember what I did last weekend. Stop bothering me. Wembley Park. Hello, Christopher.
Hi, Jacob Bronowski.
Yes.
Patrick Moore, Magnus Pike, Heinz Wolf.
Yeah, all of these people imparting books full of facts within an hour, and now we've got to some hippie who just keeps saying everything's amazing.
I think I agree with you about Brian Cox, and I really like this idea of yours of the rate of imparting facts, 4 facts an hour. I think where Patrick Moore would have been more like, 25?
Well, it's hard to keep up with the old stuff. If you watch the old programmes, like The Ascent of Man or Civilization or any of that old stuff, it is like being in a university lecture compared to what it is today, which is it's like they're trying to send a baby off to sleep.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I have some sympathy with your view. Although, I mean, I've been with my son twice to Wembley Arena to see Professor Brian Cox, and he's pretty good. I mean, I think I do like him as an entertainer. He is a good science communicator, and I can assure you he does know what he's talking about.
I'm certain that he does. But what on earth does he do at Wembley Arena?
He entertains about 5,000 people whilst people from the Flat Earth Society demonstrate outside.
What?
Yeah, seriously.
You're kidding.
I'm not.
The people from the Flat Earth Society are demonstrating outside a science lecture.
It's cool. You know what? The point I actually rang in to make. By the way, you improve, Nick. When the coalition government was in, I used to find some of your jibes quite annoying. But
now under a conservative, under a conservative administration, and I'm completely correct in every respect. Right.
But I think now, just thinking back, as far as I can, I wasn't born in this country, but I came here. Let's see, I think it was during Edward Heath's government, and ever since then we've had a number of prime ministers: Maggie Thatcher, John Major, Tony Blair. and David Cameron and Theresa May.
Yeah, some we actually even voted for. Can you imagine that?
Correct. But we didn't really know much about any of them before they became Prime Minister. That's my recollection, anyway.
Yeah.
They were relatively new on the stage.
Right.
Whereas Boris Johnson, of course, has got his reputations precede him.
We know everything we need to know about Boris Johnson.
Possibly a lot more.
Yeah, well, a little bit more than we need, yeah.
And I think, I'm just thinking, his cabinet meetings, I can't imagine what they would be like. I think they'll be more like he's hosting a dinner party, and you'll have his sort of sycophants around him, some of whom will be trying to discuss quite serious issues, and then he will just be sort of making classical references to Pythagoras.
Yeah, he'll be speaking in Greek. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that all the time. I think it's quite likely that his honeymoon period will therefore be much shorter than most prime ministers get.
I think it's worse. I expect actually that it would be worse than that. I think he will follow Donald Trump's lead because Donald Trump seems to have made a tremendous success. Nothing touches Donald Trump. He seems to have won. If life and politics is a race, somehow there's proof positive there's no such thing as God. Donald Trump has won. And so other politicians from all around the world are looking at him and thinking, yeah, that's all you've got to do. Don't have press conferences. In fact, cancel press conferences. Tell everybody that the press are liars and they're enemies of the people. Surround yourself with the military. Cancel all meetings of government. Just empty the corridors of the corridors of power, and just hand down edicts as though you are a Tsar.
That sounds like quite a likely set of scenarios, actually. But I don't know whether. Do you think this country will really stand for that kind of behaviour? I'm not. I hope not, but I can't be sure they won't.
Well, in the immediate future, we don't have a choice. That's the nature of our democracy. We're going to have our next leader chosen for us by a wholly unrepresentative, tiny minority of almost completely white male and well-off people. But as for what happens after that, well, we'll find out, I suppose.
But I think you're right. I think he's going to have quite a high turnover of cabinet.
Well, he's going to have to chuck all of them out, change everybody, because he said that nobody should work under him who doesn't believe in a hard Brexit. Well, I don't know where he's going to find enough people to sit around the table.
We'll see.
Right, I suppose so. Kind of interesting, ain't it? If only it wasn't happening to us, Christopher.
Exactly.
If only it was a soap opera on television, then it would be a lot more comfortable to view. All right, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Patrick in Guildford says, Bojo reminds me of the children's Motormouth TV character Zippy from Rainbow. That's right. He's Zippy from Rainbow.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
He says, just close your eyes for a moment and imagine him at the next hustings insisting, I can do Brexit better than Jeremy. I don't have to close my eyes. I can see it. Oh, my God. Boris Johnson is Zippy from Rainbow. Have you ever seen them in the same room together? No. I rest my case. Jamie in Crystal Palace says, please stop doing your Anne Widdecombe impression because you did it a lot last night and I laughed so hard. Not only was I sweating like Elvis during his fat period at Vegas, but I woke up today and the muscles between my ribs were really hurting. He says, I did it again tonight and now his ribs are complaining at him. Please stop. Hey, you.
Stop whining.
Patrick, and I read that. Tanya says, I'm old and grey and unless. I think you mean useless. Does she mean useless? Oh, stop doing yourself down, Tanya. I'm sure you're useful for something. But anyway, she says, I'm old, grey and useless too, but no protest songs. Open your ears. I will not open my ears, Tanya. And nor will I learn my lesson. She says, yes, Stormzy. Watch his Glastonbury set. He couldn't get more political. I'm old enough to have Bob Dylan LPs, but I've not closed my ears yet, unlike you two, says Tanya. I'm not going to listen to Stormzy. I've got no idea what he sounds like. What does he sound like? I don't like the sound of that. No, it's a no from me. Alistair says, sorry, but you got your facts wrong again. What? The Fahrenheit temperature scale was named after Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit, a Dutch-German-Polish physicist in 1724. Sorry to deflate your British balloon. My British balloon is never going to be deflated. He was from where? Poland and Germany and here, there and everywhere, baby. Dutch. He was a Dutch-German-Polish physicist. Rubbish. I've got no evidence to suggest that that isn't true, but I have decided based on my feelings. And that's what we're all about now, baby. There's no such thing as facts anymore. It's just how you feel about things. Walton-on-Thames. Andrew.
Hello. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. So, Boris, he's a funny one, isn't he? I think people give him a hard time because of, kicking the little kid over and that, that comical sketch that we saw of, well, it wasn't a sketch, but you know where I'm going at. And I think that he will be a good leader. I think that he...
But what makes you think that, based on his previous performance?
No, I think that... And I know this sounds like maybe perhaps a incorrect comparison, but I see a bit of Winston Churchill in him in terms of his.
Please.
I know. Bear with me.
What you mean, drunk?
In terms of his ability to, go right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to follow through with it. But I hope that he is able to stick to that when it comes down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, but what in his previous performance in any of his positions leads you to feel that he is somebody who can stick to anything?
It's a good question. I think that the job that he's doing at the moment and his previous
self-promotion.
But I thought. Well, so first of all, I feel that Theresa May was handed a poison chalice, right?
Yeah, of course she was.
We know that.
Yes.
Right?
You call it a poison chalice. I call it a turd sandwich from her inept predecessor.
I think this is nonsense.
Yes. She tried to fashion I don't know what you... She tried to fashion a Michelin meal out of what she was given, but you can't do that with a turd sandwich. Even Heston Blumenthal will tell you that.
No, I completely agree. So I think that was a bit of a, and I can't say the word, but it was a bit of an S show. Let's put it that way. It was a bit of a mess.
Yes.
I think that the hard Brexit thing, I think I don't necessarily agree with it, but equally, what choice do we have? My personal view...
Just go with the deal that we've got. There's nothing wrong with the deal that we've got. The deal that we got gave us everything that we wanted, but the people who want us to leave with no deal will refuse to accept anything that is not nothing. They want nothing because they've already bet against the British economy, and it will only pay out hundreds and millions of pounds if the pound tanks significantly, more so than it has already. And that will happen with a no-deal Brexit, which is why I feel that a lot of the money people behind Brexit, because they all seem to be millionaires and billionaires, the people who are really trying to direct the country in their chosen way, they will make their money if we crash out with no deal, which is why why they keep coming up with all these objections, which don't really make much sense to me about Theresa May's deal or any other kind of deal.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's an education for me. So thank you. I think that I think that a hard Brexit is something which I've not agreed with, but I think that he needs to. I think that if he gets I think he's guaranteed to get the position. I think needs to revise and sit down and work out and come up with something in line with what Theresa May had. Because I agree with you. I do think she had something good, but I didn't understand the mechanics behind it, which you just explained, which was very interesting. So thank you for enlightening me on that.
Well, now wait a minute. It sounds like this show has started to become educational. Is this an educational program?
No.
No. Well, thank goodness for that.
No, but that was an education for me.
Right.
That was, and I'll.
Well, then please disregard everything I've said on the matter.
I mean, okay, that's absolutely fine.
Right.
With regards to a hard Brexit, what's your view on that? What's your view on that? What's going to happen to the economy?
I will just go with the weight of expertise, which suggests that we would be, at least in the short term, which covers the rest of most of our lives, would be doomed. Here, Andrew, I've got to go, but thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. This hasn't become an educational programme, has it?
Negative.
Well, thank goodness for that.
LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Is he crazy, or is that just the way he acts?
Richard says, that fellow that I was talking to some moments ago, he says he's right about Dylan and Young. Next Friday. Tickets a snip at £149. You're joking. £149. What, to stand in a park? Richie tweets, but what a lineup. I mean, just two blokes, but wow. Bob Dylan, still alive. I am stunned. Richie tweets, good time to stop foreign aid if we're that skinned. We owe too much. Charity begins at home. Yeah, well, whatever we're doing at the moment, we can't afford it. It is absolutely extraordinary, the amount of money that we owe, that we both owe, and that we are borrowing with every passing minute of every passing hour. Amazing. And we've got people like Donald Trump and Jeremy Hunt who are talking about fiscal headroom. We ain't got no fiscal headroom. We can't afford anything. If this country was a person, it would be in jail right now. Let's have a call in Willesden. Dave.
Hello.
Yes, Dave.
We're the conning self-serving party. We're cold, callous and deliciously nasty. We suck up to the rich, throw the rest in a ditch, but believe in equality. Steady on, old boy. Well, partly. We're nasty by name and nasty by nature. Compassion proclaimed, but if you're poor, then I'm afraid we hate you. There's no money for invalids, hospitals or schools. There are tax cuts for party-donating moguls.
Well, I cut him off maybe a bit too early, because it sounded like there was another stanza. Does anybody want to hear that?
No.
Well, I don't know. Put it on an email, Dave. I'll read it out myself. Listeners with material.
Oh, no.
Still, there was a couple of good lines in there. Daniel says, did you see Donny? And Donny said Revolutionary War troops took over the airports in his 4th of July speech. Highly amusing. Yeah, well, that's the problem with Donald Trump. He is highly amusing. That's the problem with somebody who wishes to be a dictator and to act dictatorially. If he's amusing, it kind of takes your eye off what's actually going on here, and that's his trick. Plus, there's the constant lying. There's that too, and him being funny and all makes you think that he might be a nice person.
Donald Trump is a very nice person.
Yeah. Well, we know that's not true too. No, he's just not a presidential person.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
And he doesn't have a temperament for the job.
But I have a strong temperament, and it's a very good temperament, and it's a very in-control temperament. I have a very strong temperament, but I have a temperament that's totally under control.
What do you think, Kanye?
Whoop-dee-dee scoop poop.
Exactly. Lisa from Surrey says, can you really have Boris as PM with his mad hair? So unprofessional not to use a hairbrush for high-profile meetings. My director would sack people for turning up to board meetings look like you just got out of bed. Well, that's how he keeps getting away with stuff. He's been getting away with stuff by looking like that his entire life. Well, I think it was the Daily Mail. They printed pictures of him at school. You know, as like a 12-year-old, something like that. He looked the exact same at 12 as he looks now. He looks like Just William. You remember the Just William books? They were great. That's who he is. Oh, my God. Just William is going to be our next Prime Minister. We're doomed. Mike says, I thugged my way through a 2-2 in physics from the Royal College of Science. And I can't imagine any of my lecturers selling out an arena. Should have gone to Manchester. I can't believe that hippie sells out arenas. He only does it because... If he was just the bloke from the CERN laboratory, then he would not be selling out arenas. But he's the hippie off the telly. You know, Professor Brian Cox. I can't imagine what he does. What does he do? Guildford. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Nick.
Peter.
How can Boris and Jeremy Hunt offer tax cuts, which it will obviously mean more borrowing,
yeah,
and then turn around and criticise anything Jeremy Corbyn puts on offer?
What a nerve. What a nerve, eh?
It's total and utter hypocrisy. And it's so sad, Nick, that people are turning... Well, they're not having a choice in this election, but people tend to turn towards the very people that have made them poor in the first place.
Yeah.
We've got the austerity. They don't talk about austerity. They don't talk about food banks. They don't talk about the services that are starved of funding, and they have to rely on charities. I mean, these people, it's just so sad.
Well, it doesn't fit in with their scenario of making Britain great again when people are queuing around a block because they can't afford to feed themselves.
Exactly. They're totally ignoring the worries of ordinary people.
Yeah.
And that's the trouble when you live in a Tory bubble like they do. They're only interested in giving tax cuts and fox hunting and all the rest of it to their own kind.
I can't believe that fox hunting came back to the top of the issues that they want to talk about. I mean, what?
Who the hell wants it,
Well, why talk about that? Why even bring it up? That was just a stupid move. A move born out of desperation, I bet.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, sorry, mate, I've got to go. This is LBC.
Is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Yes, hello. I've been waiting for you. Hello.
Nadia says, tell your assistant if he messes up, you'll lock him in the toilet for a week with just the toilet water. I think you've been thinking about this for a little bit too long, Nadia. Jack in London says, I also hate tennis and I'm working at Wimbledon. Watching games go to 5 sets is painful as I watch my evening disappear. Hey, Jack.
Stop whining.
And Mike says, I hope Boris and Hunt double down on the Conservatives' Brextremism and work their party into a WTO frenzy. Then the adults, and I wouldn't even bet against Mrs May being against this number, will rebel and we will get no Brexit at all. P.S. Stormzy is a voice of protest, just a genre I don't like. Yeah, what's his genre?
Grime.
Grime. See, I just don't like the sound of grime. Grime?
Disgusting.
No. It's a no from me. It sounds like a teen thing. I don't do teen music. Let's have... unless it was music when I was a teen, in which case it's just fine. but I don't do new teen music. I do new grown-up music, but not new teen music. And I hope that that's clear. Wanstead, hello, Juncker.
Hi, Nick.
Juncker.
I not so sure why you're so worried about debt.
Debt?
You know, yes, all this hoo-ha about too much debt.
There's been hoo-ha?
Yeah, all the noise you're making about debt. Money, debt is money. The more debt, the better.
No, not the more debt, the better. The opposite of that. Less debt. Better.
No more debt.
Well, okay, you explain how more debt equals better.
Well, let's say I was to ask you to clean my windows.
Yeah.
For £10. And
You're
you
joking,
clean
mate.
my windows. And, okay, make it 20. Make it
Right,
20.
done.
And you clean my windows, but I don't pay you the 20.
What?
Yet. I promise to pay you tomorrow. And that debt, that IOU, is money. It goes down on a ledger.
No,
Credit
it's not money. I can't spend it unless you give it to me.
You see, that's how the system works, I'm afraid, Nick.
What does that mean?
Well, there's no gold in the banks anymore. I hope you know that.
Yeah, but we're not on the gold
abandoned-
system.
Right, exactly. So what is the system? It's what I've just told you. You get credit, I get debit, and it goes down on a ledger as money.
Yes, but I can only spend that money that I haven't got if I then avail myself of the system of other imaginary money, as in credit cards and all of that stuff.
But you're all right. You're all right because you're so good at telling jokes. So
Everything's on the never. And
exactly.
eventually you'd have to assume that it's all going to fall over. Probably the next time that we have a recession, which will be just around the corner, because we haven't had one in a good long while.
Yeah, true. But if it falls over for us, it will fall over for every country on the planet, because that's how the money system works.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
But it's not
We'll all
okay.
fall over together.
Yeah, but how does that make it okay?
Well, because if everybody's fallen over, then we'll be having a good time on the floor. You get it?
No, I don't get it, and I don't think you do either. We'll be having a good time on the floor. What, disco dancing, you mean? Well, of course, people do like to have having a party when things go pear-shaped. Yeah, I get that part. You know, like in the 20s, and people were having a party in the 1970s, doing the disco dancing and punk rocking and all of that, and doing the hippity hop music. Yeah, all that was good. But it was preceded by misery. You know, the crash in the 1920 mids, and the 1970s was an absolute misery fest. So yeah, we're about to, by many accounts, we're about to have another recession, and because we haven't actually climbed out of the giant hole that the last recession put us in, you know, the national debt doubled. It doubled after the chaos that the banks had caused came back to roost. And we still haven't paid all that back. The amount that we owe is still going up all the time. It's just the amount that we borrow year to year in order to pay the interest back has gone down a bit. But the amount that we actually owe doubled. And we haven't paid that back. And so we haven't got... You'd have to admit this, Juncker. There is no facility left for us to protect ourselves in the event of another recession, is there?
Yes, there is. It's more
debt.
Endless,
yeah.
Endless debt, because, like I said, someone goes into debt. That's me. You go into credit. It all goes on a ledger, and you can go and put someone else into credit or debt, and there's your money, and you just pass it on, and it keeps getting passed on. You see.
But this is a fantasy, though, and none of this actually exists.
No, it doesn't exist, but that's how the system works, and everyone buys into it. So it works because everyone buys into it.
Well, yes, okay, but see, now that is a pretty gossamer thin platform to have the world standing on, because at the moment when people start to not believe in it, when people start to queue outside banks because they want their money back, then it all falls over.
Now, was that a joke?
No.
No. So you want to bring back the gold standard?
No, I don't. No, but people will panic. No, listen to me. People will panic at some point. It happened to but that's what precipitated the crash the last time around. People started queuing outside the bank because they wanted their money back, because they were frightened that the banks weren't going to give it to them anymore. That the banks didn't actually have that money. Of course, they don't. And so they wanted to be first in the queue to get their cash out. Actual real money that they could feel and touch and squeeze and sniff. And when the queue starts getting longer, then the whole show is over. That's right, ain't it, Juncker?
The paper is just an IOU. You know that. What you want is something real and tangible, like tiger's teeth, I think. Or maybe perhaps you want bones. I don't know. They used to use bones as money in the past, didn't they?
Tiger feet. Did you say tiger feet?
Tiger teeth.
Oh, teeth. Yeah, not tiger feet, because that's mud.
Rock and roll!
Anybody remember Mud? That's teen music. See, now that was great teen music. Back in the 1970s. Mud and the Rubettes and Slade. What they got these days, I've got no idea. Absolutely no clue. But anyway, Juncker, thanks for explaining it to us. Is that clear now?
No.
Fudge tweets, "Hey Nick, I met my daughter's new form tutor recently. Lovely lady, but she was from Northern Ireland, and I nearly got into trouble for sniggering because all I could hear was ar. It's all your fault." Oh, right. My fault. Gavin in Caterham says, "Nick, the referendum. Strike 1, Theresa May calling an election and losing her majority. Strike 2, no deal Brexit. Strike 3, we're doomed." I don't get that. I sort of got lost halfway through. Matt in Lewisham says, "I wish Vince would stay on as Lib Dem leader. I'm not convinced that the two new leadership contenders are as good. Yeah, or are as memorable." Can anybody remember what their names are?
No.
I've got no idea. And I'm supposed to remember stuff like that for a living. I've got no idea who they are. I probably voted for them last time around. I got no clue. Am I informed about the issues?
Negative.
Yeah, but neither is anybody else. That is alarming when you think about the money system that makes the world go round. It's pretty worrying because that money doesn't exist. It doesn't actually exist. It's like pass the parcel, or the musical chairs. When the music stops playing, then we're all in big trouble.
Oh no.
0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in Bordeaux. Rehall. Oh, God, again with this screen. I have to hit it so hard. No. There it is. Rehall.
Yes, hello.
Bonsoir, Rehall.
Oh, bonsoir, Nick. Very impressive.
That's all I know.
Well, I wanted to speak to you because I thought that you defended Theresa May far too much. I don't think she was given a turd sandwich. I think she created a turd sandwich. Why did she trigger Article 50 and give leaving March as the date for leaving when she quite obviously had no reasonable expectation to think that we would leave at that date? I mean, do you not think that was a terrible mistake?
Yes, perhaps, but I think it was probably a mistake that she was dragooned into making by people bellowing at her from all sides.
Yeah, but she's the PM. She can say, well, I'm not going to do it because I don't know what's going to happen. And so, I mean, I don't know what you thought. I just thought she looked so farcical, just asking for the extension and then asking for the other extension. Don't you think she could have tried to negotiate first and said, look, folks, I'm going to see what they're going to give us first, and then I'm going to come back to the country maybe with a few options. So a bit like a second referendum, but not trying to pressure anybody and saying we're going to leave, and then just give them all the customs unions, stay in, stay out, and she could have thrashed things out a lot more instead of just faffing around and saying we're going to leave when we weren't.
Well, it's even worse than that, because what they did, both times they had some sort of extension, they were gifted an extension by the evil European overlords. Both times our MP said, thanks very much, we're going on holiday now.
Yeah, but don't you think she would have known? She should have known that, shouldn't she?
Well, yes, but she should have actually cancelled their blooming holidays.
Well, that too. But all I wanted to do was see if I could persuade you to say, well, actually, she created that sandwich.
Well, she may have put a toothpick through it. You know, one of those toothpicks with a little swirly bit of plastic that makes it look nice.
Oh, do you think? Okay,
I don't think she made it, but she may have dressed it. How does that sound?
Well, no, I think she created it entirely.
All right,
but,
then.
Can I just add that I think, I'm not a Tory voter, I wouldn't vote for either of them, but I do think Boris Johnson is very funny. He has charisma.
Yes, no doubt.
I think it would. I think whatever happens, if he is PM, and it looks like he will be, I definitely think there'll be a few laughs.
But you could say that about Donald Trump, and you laugh and you laugh and you laugh, and then you realise, hang on a minute, this guy is actually a wannabe dictator, and he's got evil running through him like words through Brighton Rock. And,
absolutely.
And he ain't.
Boris Johnson doesn't make me feel like that.
Well, not yet.
Oh, you think it's all an act? And there's cunning beneath the blonde. There's cunning beneath the blonde hair.
Are you kidding me? Of course, it's an act.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, he is probably really clever at heart, but it's all what you said, you know, self-interest and self-aggrandizement. He doesn't strike me as really sinister like Trump, who is just thick and would start a war with Iran for fun, I think.
Well, he may be thick, but the irritating thing about Donald Trump is he keeps winning, regardless of how many times he's caught out in a lie, regardless of how many times his promises failed to materialise. He just keeps winning. Nothing sticks to that guy. I think he is. Would it be too strong to say that he is actually the devil walking among us?
No, I think you're flattering him too much. I think he's just winging it all the time.
Yeah, just lucky. Yeah. Exactly right. Hey, what's the wine like in Bordeaux, Real?
Oh, I'm going to disappoint you here. I'm completely teetotal. When I lived in the UK, I used to get drunk every Friday night. And then after that, I lived in Canada. And you know, the Canadians are so anti-drink. And I had to go teetotal.
Really?
Yeah.
Canadians are anti-drink, but they legalised marijuana.
Oh, did they? When did they do that?
What, are you telling me?
I saw no evidence of that. You couldn't smoke anywhere there either. You couldn't smoke. You shouldn't drink. They're very puritanical. I'm stunned to hear about this marijuana.
Yeah, I think the entire country is now pot legal.
Want to score some pot?
Eh?
Am I off now? Am I still with you?
No, it sounds like you.
Oh, good. That's great. No, because have you been to North America much? Because I find them incredibly puritanical. You know, if you go somewhere for a drink, there's always a separate section. You know, if you go to an outside fete, and I think you've got to be 21 in some areas.
Yeah, you do. America is an odd place because on the one hand it can be extremely loose and free and libertarian and all of that, and on the other hand they're highly religious and very restrictive, and it just depends where you go. Yeah,
but I mean, what was that famous prohibition time? I mean, to me, when I went, I'm talking about Canada, but it felt as if they had prohibition there, because even if you went into the sectioned off section for the boozers, you could see people frowning at you.
Well, that's British people, though, isn't it? We have a different relationship to alcohol than pretty much the rest of the world. Certainly to North America, who look at us askance and they can't believe how much we drink. Or actually, you specifically, Riol, apparently, by your own admission, guilty.
No, pure. I was a drunkard in England like everybody else. Right. And then when I came to Canada, nobody was.
Yeah. Hey, what's the weather like in Bordeaux at the moment?
Oh, it's great. It's
yes,
really
but we
hot.
don't wish to know that. Thank you, Rehall. 0345 6060 973. Bloomin' awful here. It's going to be 65 here tomorrow. Let me just check that nothing's changed, because they do seem to change their minds a lot from 1 minute to the next. Well, 66. 66 degrees and with occasional rain. That is rubbish. I'm not completely satisfied. 0345 6060 973. Nick Abbott, Friday and Saturday night at 10, LBC.
This is LBC. Greg Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
Jamie in Nottingham says, I totally agree about the quality of television, feeding the public rubbish, essentially dumbing down the nation. However, BBC 4 has some educational stuff. Yeah, I think that word some should be underlined. Every now and again, like maybe once or twice a week, they'll have something that's not stupid. Aidan says, I'm pretty sure Fiscal Headroom performed at Glastonbury this year. That would be an excellent name for a rock band, wouldn't it? Fiscal Headroom. And Richard says, did your assistant get the coffee right? Well, it was okay. I mean, all he had to do was pour hot water on instant coffee that I'd already spooned into the cup. And I'd say I'll give you a 5. 5 out of 10. Not bad. Better luck next time. James says, you're not kidding. Back in the 1970s, we had James Burke drowning us in science. In 60 seconds, he told you more stuff than a whole series of Brian Cox. And he had better hair, too. It is true. Television used to treat its audience as though they were, smart. Now it treats its audience as though it's stupid. And they talk so slowly at you. And they know that you can't pay attention if it's just a picture of somebody speaking. You know, as though the human race isn't primed to pay attention when somebody's face is right in front of us. And so they show... They have blooming music on everything for a start. What is that? Why does everything have to come with a musical accompaniment? As though we're incapable of concentrating for 10 seconds without a soundtrack. And they don't pummel us with statistics or facts of any kind. They'll just drip feed us stuff. Maybe one thing over the space of an hour, and the rest of it's just hippie music and visuals. Groovy. Which is what that Brian Cox thing is like. I mean, I tried to watch one of his things, but it was just so insipid. I mean, you just want to shake him in the nicest possible way. Oh, but everything's so... Oh, look, it's amazing. Oh, for crying out loud, mate. Keith says, the sooner we start calling out the ignorance of the ordinary man when it comes to policy, the better we can get on. It seems these Egypts would be happy with communism. Well, I think it's much, much worse than that. I think that there is a feeling, not only in this country, but many countries, it seems to be sweeping the world, that people actually want a dictator. They want a dictator who's going to smash an easily identifiable minority who they've been told is the cause of their lives not working out like they'd like it to. And in America, it's Donald Trump and his Mexicans. You know, they're rapists, they're perverts, you know that. And in this country, it's the European Union, all of them. Not such a minority, really. We're taking on the entire continent. But, for the people who are other, I do get the sense that people actually are itching for a dictatorship. They really want to be put in their place. You know what I mean? 0345 6060 973. Actually, led around on a lead like a dog. Ipswich, Gary.
Hello, Nick. How's the nervous breakdown coming?
It's in full effect.
I think we should get Barbara from last night and Brian on together to give you a hard time, and then we can see a complete meltdown.
I think that would do it. Just the very thought of it is making me itch.
And actually, I think when Boris becomes PM, they should be in the government, they should be in the cabinet, and the freebies. You could actually get a spin-off program. You could sort of have the mental breakdown series. where you feature people from around the country that are going through epileptic or apoplectic fits and whatever, going mad.
Their nervous breakdown update.
Yeah. Chaired by Alistair Campbell.
I think we've got a show.
I think so. I'll go on it just as a critic, because I'd love to tease you, so that would be quite funny. It does. All of this doesn't matter who. Hasn't anyone noticed Alaska's had its hottest day ever? And in China, the guys aren't allowed to show their midriff because and everywhere's burning up. It's great, isn't it?
Well, okay, I'm with China on that. I mean, men should keep their blooming shirts on in town, and furthermore, should never wear shorts unless they can see the sea from where they are. That's correct, isn't it?
Well, I live by the sea, and it can be quite horrific in certain parts of where I live. We had a meal on Thursday, late afternoon, about 4 o'clock. The kids are out of school. And we were on this sunny patio outside one of these theme pubs. There was a McDonald's on the other side of the road. And do you know what? Everyone looked like the McCory twins from the Guinness Book of Records. They were humongous. Everyone who was turning up was huge.
I've got no idea who the McCory twins are. Who are they?
Well, they were the world's fattest twins back in the 70s when I used to get a Guinness Book of Records for Christmas every year.
Right. But that in the 1970s, that was back when people weren't fat.
Well, in America they were, weren't they? They were...
Not really. Not like... Well, Cannon was fat. The detective Cannon. He was fat right enough. His car used to... When he got out of his car, it used to wobble. Do you remember that? I guess that just must have been the way they made 1970s cars, which is why nobody, apart from Americans, buy American cars. But he used to get out of his car, and you could almost feel the relief of the springs in the car, and it would wobble like jelly when he got out. But he was the only fat person that I can recall. There was Barry White. Hey, you know what? I bought the best of Barry White a little while ago on CD because it was cheap in a CD store, and I thought, I haven't got any Barry White. I'll buy this. He had so many hits. It's incredible. There's about 20 hits on that best of. You buy a best of somebody or some act, and there'll be maybe 3 or 4 hits that you recognise, and the rest will be fillers. Not on this CD. It's amazing how many hits Barry White had. What a talent!
I just bought the best of Middle of the Road.
Chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep?
Yeah.
You're kidding?
Yeah, it's such an easy album to sing along to.
But they only had one hit.
No, they had about 8 or 9 really good songs.
Nonsense.
Sacramento, Soleil, Soleil, Where's Your Mama Gone?
Was that Middle of the Road?
Yes, Middle of the Road.
Chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep.
Yeah. I ain't going to start singing it. But
ooh, it's almost impossible not to, ain't it? It's like it's one of those songs that your brain starts it up and you're fighting yourself to not sing it. Ooh, chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep.
This is all we're going to have left, This is all we're going to have left is music at the end of the day, and we're going to be a world which is bereft of money, and everyone will be impoverished, and we'll be going back to the dark ages if we don't do something about the climate.
But at least we'll have Middle of the Road. Where's your mama gone?
And you mentioned Slade earlier.
Yes.
I brought their best of compilation as well.
Oh, well, I bet that's pretty good.
Yeah, there are so many, and
dreadfully misspelled, each and every one of them, deliberately so.
They're still performing, but only Dave Hill and the drummer Don Powell.
Yeah.
The other two, that's acrimonious little split because Noddy and the other guy Jimmy Lee wrote all the songs, so they take all the credit while the others have to go flogging the band.
Well, wherever they're playing, kids, come on, feel the noise. Noize. Yeah, Gary, I'm going to have to go, but thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 12:30. The news headlines with Andy Ivey.
And LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Well, let's get back to it.
Jeff in Chorley says, what I fear most about Boris becoming PM is the prospect of an interview between him and Robert Peston. Burble, he says. That does sound excruciating, doesn't it? Angela says, what if what we're going through was a TV soap, I'd switch it off and want to get back to normality. Normality? What's that? And Bill says, Boris's honeymoon period as PM will end on the 31st of October, or within a few weeks of it. Happy Christmas, everybody. That's what Bill says. Watford, hello, Neil.
Hi, I think you're right about the dictator, because Boris, I think even the
Neil, can you back off the phone a couple of feet?
Can you hear me?
Okay. When I said a couple of feet, I misspoke. A couple of inches.
Yeah, okay.
There you are.
Okay. I think Boris has got a bit of Turkish in him.
Got a bit of what, sorry?
He's partly Turkish, isn't he?
Oh, Turkish. Yeah.
Yes. He can make a very good dictator, so you'll be dictated to say exactly what you say.
What?
And he'll be in total control. Boris will be a very good dictator.
Yes.
We need a dictator now to keep us in the straight and narrow.
Do you think?
And he's going to dictate to tell you what to say in your news hour. You'll be fully controlled.
Well, I hope so. God, because this coming up with stuff all the time is really wearing me out.
And he is absolutely guaranteed to give you exit on 31st of October.
So he says.
He will dictate to EC saying, that's it, we are out.
Yeah.
It's a done deal.
So that's it, we're leaving.
That's it, it's a done deal.
Yeah, except we ain't got no deal.
Well, that's it. It's a done deal. We are out. No matter what happens, we'll suffer. Will be huge problems. But we are out. The whole thing is a joke, Nick.
Yeah, I can't wait to start suffering.
We all have to suffer now. I'm willing to suffer now. That's it. I need to suffer for the next 5 years.
Well, you better be ready to suffer, Neil.
Anyway, it was nice to talk to you, Nick.
Okay, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, a bit of S&M. Mostly the M part. We love a bit of it. Alison says, you mentioned Brian Cox. I recorded all of his Planets series. It's great. I suffer with insomnia, and 10 minutes of that and I'm sound asleep. There must be a scientific explanation for such an amazing cure. Yeah, because he's just so dull. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. It's because he doesn't pummel you with facts. It's all about, it's just feelings, and everything's so lovely and great. It is. It's an excellent cure for insomnia. Whereas if it was Jacob Bronowski, that's not a cure for insomnia at all. You're sitting on the edge of your seat, you're gripping the armrests, your eyeballs are wide open, your ears are in full effect, and and your brain is fizzing because there's so much information being poured into you. In about 2 minutes, Jacob Bronowski would have told you more. You would have forgotten more that he told you than you would have taken in a whole series of Brian Cox's, whatever those shows are, the hippie diatribe. He'll be standing on top of a mountain with wind in his hair and in his stupid blooming combats. That man has never seen combat. Stop wearing combats. Dave says, the cynical atheist is on the air once more. Who? Oh, me. Pulling our country down and disrespecting our monarchy and leaders. What exactly do you stand for, Mr. Abbott, he says. The anthem. That's what, Dave. On your feet. Stirring, isn't it?
No.
Thomas says, if all those rich Conservatives like Jacob Rees-Mogg, Boris and the rest believe so much in Brexit, then let's ask them to put all their money in UK accounts during the turmoil that we will have to face. I bet all their money will be overseas. Rich men get richer in a crisis. I saw it in Greece, says Thomas. Well, you can make a ton of money in periods of turmoil as long as you bet the right way. Those with the cash will continue to make the money. That's the way it works. David in Belgravia says, I can't wait for Boris's PMQs. Absolutely hilarious and chaotic it will be. Well, I wouldn't be remotely surprised if he went the Donald Trump way and he just cancelled them. I mean, what are they going to do? Put him in chains and drag him to the dispatch box? He'll just say, I'm just it's too busy. There's way too much to think about. We'll just cancel them for a while. I mean, Donald Trump cancelled his press briefings. The way in which the press, fake news, holds the people in power to account. He just cancelled them. They don't do those anymore. You know, you used to have Sean Spicer. That mad routine that he used to do, and then that cross-eyed disseminator of misinformation, that woman, I can't remember what her name is now. Liar! Yeah, that woman. But they don't do them anymore. Have you noticed? They're just gone. Because the press is fake news and the enemy of the people. And Donald Trump was joshing with his best mate, Vlad the Insaner, about killing journalists. He so desperately wants to be a dictator. He wants to be a murderous dictator who smashes into the ground anybody that says a bad word about him. He wants to be Kim Jong-un.
Oh, shut up!
Well, he's already got the physique. Just saying. Manchester. Linda.
Hi there, Nick. You're such a wordsmith, but I'm hoping I don't stumble over my words here. You'll have to forgive me. I do have a slight excuse. I was cannulaed with iodine today, so yeah.
Wait a minute. What does that mean? You had a what now?
Had a cannula put in my hand and then iodine squirted it, for an X-ray.
Oh, right. So how does that make you feel?
Wow, it makes you feel a bit peculiar, actually.
A bit woozy?
They say to you, you'll feel a warmth, and you do. It's really peculiar. Internally, you feel this warmth sort of developing, and it feels a bit, you want to go, God, am I turning into something weird here or what? It does make you feel a bit weird.
Right.
Right, so, okay. If you go back to the Corn Laws, Nick.
Oh, no. This isn't a history lesson, is it?
Boring! I'm so sorry. It's relevant, though. It's relevant. Because if you go back, Peel actually repealed the Corn Laws, didn't he? He was a Tory, wasn't he? He was Conservative. But his actual ministers didn't want him to do that, so he relented in the end and gave in as poor people, And I think Nigel Farage is a bit on the weak side.
Nigel Farage has got a wig. Is that what you just said?
No, we didn't. I said, no, it'll sue me. I haven't got any money anyway, so wait forever, won't he? But, yeah. I think Nigel Farage's party, like the wig, it's like doing the round again. The time of the Corn Laws, you go back, there was no Labour Party then, so us poor sods didn't have anybody to stick up for us, There was just the Tories and the Whigs, wasn't there? And I think we've gone back to that. God save us with Jeremy Corbyn is all I can say.
All right. I think we're all in big trouble, Linda. But
I know we're in big trouble, Nick. I do. Our family actually goes back to the time of the first Strasbourg Nifard. We are of that line, so we go back centuries. We were around when the first lot got started, so...
Well, then, okay, so what you're saying is that the position that we find ourselves in is your fault.
No, we actually put down the battle. Oh God, how to stop wars? In the So
no. I think you just got to apologise to the British people for everything that you've put us through.
I mean, they've been putting me through some hell the last 2 years, I can tell you. So I won't apologise because there isn't anything to apologise for. But I hope people get their sort of brains in gear and stop being fed all this rubbish that they're being drip-fed, like you say.
Right. Well, I'm not holding out any hope on that score. But at least we have your solemn apology for everything that you and your family have caused. Thanks a lot, Linda. We appreciate it. There you are. She said,
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Now we know who to blame. Thank you, Linda, for taking full responsibility. About bloomin' time. Now, I have a podcast out. It's called the Nick Abbot Habit, and some of the calls that I had yesterday were absolutely off the scale great and will be in a future podcast. It is the best of this show and some extra bits too. The one that's out at the moment is 30 minutes of amusement. That's the idea. They're half an hour long, and it's a laugh from start to finish. And the one that's just out, I think you will love it. You can get it on the app that we have, Global Player. Download Global Player from your app store, and there's just so much on there. All of the stations that we do, you can listen back to whole shows. And lots of podcasts as well. Scroll down to the Global Podcasts section, way over to the right, and you'll find I'm at the at or towards the end there. It's called the Nick Abbot Habit. If you don't do stuff like that by phone, just point your pewter at it. It's available on an internet near you. Ask for it by name. The Nick Abbot Habit.
Is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
Ian says Abbott will now set about... It's Abbott. That is so rude.
Be polite.
He says Abbott will now set about his Remain propaganda programme on LBC, but at no time will he mention the farcical Brussels to Strasbourg to Brussels nonsense or the undemocratic nature of the dodgy apparatchik nominees for top EU jobs. Oh, Ian, can you even hear yourself? This is a country that's spending £52 billion on getting from London to Birmingham 10 minutes more quickly. And as for the undemocratic part, I mean, come on, do I really need to go into it? No. We're about to have yet another unelected Prime Minister who will answer to an unelected head of state and be overseen by an unelected upper house. Does that sound democratic to you?
Negative.
Really? Martin in Somerset says, pity Trump with his advanced knowledge of wind ain't worked out when we learned to travel in it. You mean by plane?
I know a lot about wind.
Yeah, sure you do, Donny. Stop eating food in a bucket. Rochdale. Hello, Aaron.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I'm old school left winger, old school anti-common market.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that the whole common market system, EU system, is a neoliberal, undemocratic club.
Is it? Okay.
And
what does neoliberal mean?
It means that laissez-faire capitalism.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that it holds us back.
I don't think that's what it means.
Well,
what's the alternative to neoliberalism?
Sovereignty in this country, where we can elect a socialist government with proper socialist policies.
But what if that's not the will of the people, Aaron?
Well, then that's democracy.
Right. So democracy is neoliberalism.
No, the EU is neoliberalism because it's not a democratic system.
But it is a democratic system. Which part of it is not democratic?
The parts that are unelected that tell us what to do. But this is true.
Oh, it's true. Oh, you should have said that at the beginning. Then I would have taken you seriously.
Right.
Yeah. Don't tell me a lot of old flannel and then tell me it's true, because I might have decided along the route that what you're talking about, what you're saying is rubbish. You're talking rubbish, man. You got to tell me it's true before you talk rubbish, and then I won't assume that what you're telling me is just nonsense. That was priceless. Which part's undemocratic? The undemocratic part. Oh well. Yeah, you got that right. But which bit's that?
The Morning Star, who's against, who actually is anti-EU.
The Morning Star.
The Morning Star, yes.
What's this got to do with anything?
Well, you're saying that there's no... Well, actually, I'm saying from the left. There's quite a lot of people on the left who do not buy into the EU project.
Project, right. But what bit of it don't you buy into?
All of it. The reason, yes. Yes, exactly.
All of it. Well, can you be more specific, Aaron? I'll assume that the answer is no, but I'll pose the question anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason that the Labour Party is where it is at the moment is because of Thatcherism. The reason they actually wedded the EU, they actually supported the EU, it was a way to get around Thatcherism.
Right. So the travails facing the Labour Party at the moment are all the fault of Margaret Thatcher, who hasn't been with us for decades, Aaron. I mean, when are they going to get their act together, the Labour Party? Are you kidding me? They're still in the doldrums because of Margaret Thatcher?
Are the EU going to save any of us?
Are they going to save us?
Yeah.
Well, my fingers are crossed that they don't save you. I mean that in the nicest possible way. What is he talking about? Anybody have any idea? No, I don't think he does either. Well, I'll just ask him. Do you have any idea what you're talking about, Aaron?
Yes.
Oh, see, I got that wrong. Paul says, I'm convinced the Mike Pence, who always stands next to Donald Trump, isn't a real person. He looks exactly like a Thunderbird's puppet. He does look exactly like a Thunderbird's puppet. That man looks like he's made out of wood. And the way in which he looks at Donald Trump, I mean, good grief, you two, get a room. No, see, that's unfair. I think Donald Trump's into women.
I cherish women.
Mostly his daughter. Ron says, Coco the Clown is etching his way nearer to number 10. Elsewhere, Coco Gauff, a 15-year-old tennis player, is causing ructions at centre court, giving the established set something to fret about. Oh, really? Tennis? Please, tell me more.
Boring.
Pauline in Vienna says, I'm on my first holiday in Vienna. Amazing city, so clean, no paper on the floor, overflowing bins, no beggars. Great food and service, and so reasonably priced and cool people. The UK is one big, smelly, crumbling mess. Wow. Usually the further away you get from a country, the more patriotic you feel. But that doesn't sound like patriotism to me, Pauline. Sounds like traitorous, borderline. But it sounds like a lovely place. I'll see you at the airport. Paul in London says, somebody explain Anne Widdecombe to me. Actually, don't bother. Yeah, well, I haven't got enough time. Only 6 minutes to go. I certainly do not have enough time to explain Anne Widdecombe to you. Angus in Glasgow says, asked today if I would be supporting England in the World Cup third place playoff, I was able to muster all my British politeness and say, nae chance. Scotland lost only 2 games, each 2-1, but one to a lousy penalty. Hey, Angus.
Stop whining.
Paul says, you've just said that Donald Trump has won, yet you ridicule him. Is Donald Trump the new modern politics? We have another unelected prime minister with no manifesto. At least Donald was elected. Well, kind of. He got 3 million fewer votes than the person who supposedly lost because of that crooked system they've got over there. I suppose he was elected, and he had a manifesto of sorts in which he promised all sorts of things, which he hasn't delivered on any of them yet.
I'm building a wall.
Yeah, he didn't build a wall. He said that he was fit for the job.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
Yeah, and that's a lie. It was just so much of it. Where do his lies begin and the and mendacity end?
I make $400 million a year, so what difference does it make?
Yeah, no you don't, no you don't, no you don't. Prove it. That's the reason he won't release his tax returns, apart from getting a lot of dodgy money from Russia, is because he does not make $400 million a year. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he was totally broke, or at least before he became the President of the United States of America, and he could monetize the job. How do you make a lot of money out of being president? Well, apart from anything else, you meet other heads of state in your own blooming hotels. I mean, they don't come in ones and twos. Hundreds of people will fill hotels. It's not a coincidence. Becky says, I really like Brian Cox, but when he keeps on about planets or something being a million billion years old, it does my head in, says Becky. He does do that, doesn't he? Can you imagine? It's 100 billion, million, billion years old. I'll put a sock in it, Brian. Or just wake up. Wake up, man! He always sounds as though he's under the influence. You know what I mean? Snap out of it. Monica in Coventry says, I love tennis, but hate watching Wimbledon. It's the crowd. They are they are such complete prats, says Monica. Well, don't sit on the fence, Monica. Tell us what you think. Prats, you say? She says, I also can't stand Andy Murray. Never could. But I hold him in utter contempt since he accepted a title. Total hypocrite. He's Sir Andy now, isn't he? What on earth for? For being successful at tennis? How silly is that? It's just utterly preposterous. Gosh, there's so many that I haven't got around to. So many messages that I haven't got around to yet. I keep doing this every day. I'm not very good at my job. Darren says, can you please explain why, if Trump is such a warmonger, why he never took either the tanker attack or the drone shot down as an opportunity to start one? Even though the Dems and the media tried to goad him into it, he declined. Oh, please. Yeah, there's no evidence to suggest that Donald Trump will bring us to war.
I'll bring us into war.
Apart from him saying it. There is that. He keeps surrounding himself with the military, and he puts on military jackets, and he throws a military parade for himself. But he doesn't actually want to go to war because he said that he voted against the Iraq war. I think the reason that America shouldn't go to war with Iran is because they haven't won a war since World War II, have they? I mean, they spend more money on the military than the next 10 highest spending countries put together, yet they can't win any fight. It might be something to do with their physical fitness, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. If you like this show, then you'll like the podcast a lot. It's the best of this show, distilled down into half-hour chucklesome bites. It's called the Nick Abbott Habit. It's available on an internet near you. And I'm going to be doing a podcast with Carol McGiffin. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? And if you would like us to deal with your problem in a very unserious manner, then email your problem to nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com. And whatever happens between now and next Friday at 10 o'clock, well, it just boils my mind even thinking about it. But we'll chew it up and spit it out then, eh? If you stick around, I think you'll find that Steve Allen will set you straight at 5. But right now, it's Matt Stadland.
Nick, have you heard my new podcast series?
No.
Not yet? No?
No.
Great treats are in store for you. The How to Academy podcast series with Matt Stadland on the Global Player, Nick. Hey, more importantly, have you heard?
Yes.
Boris Johnson has insisted that he's not bluffing about delivering a no-deal Brexit on October the 31st,
Yeah,
but do you believe
never mind
him,
about
Nick?
that. What about his bus hobby? Does anybody believe that?
He paints the little characters
Yeah,
on them.
sure
What does he
he does.
paint on the bus itself, though? Anything to do with 350 million quid, do you think, Nick?
No.
What about the odds of a no-deal Brexit? 1,000,000 to 1, says Boris. What do we believe? Which words that come out of his mouth do we trust?